little different than all the rest. I'm quite old-fashioned, where I had sometimes played chess. And when I'm out, I'm looking for that vintage fling. But all complexions that I adore.
I know, I'm late. Okay, stop emailing me. For the last video, I think I used the N-word a few too many times. Now, I don't know what the rule is. I don't know if because I'm mixed, I get like 1 or 2 N-words a video, but we're gonna try to taper that down. Today's suspect is SchrodingerLee. Lee is one of the top 5 most subscribed to Valorant content creators, sitting at an impressive 1.61 million subscribers. But on October 30th, 2025, Lee would reveal something that would change the trajectory of his career forever. Now, normally, I would have already booked him on account of the egregious e-dating and gooner bait content, but Lee decided to take it a step further. Have a listen.
Last week, I actually did something like actually criminal, like unironically, like actually criminal, and I feel like it's best if I just come out with it myself. Last week, whilst we were like in bed with each other, I took like photos of us, not of us, of her, sorry. And that's something that she was very, very like adamantly not okay with. It wasn't like with her consent or anything.
Fessing up to a crime, huh? Guess who just hit the top of my shit list, buddy? Was that too Reddit? I'm sorry. Given that Lee's success hinges almost entirely on interacting with women, it's no surprise that he's bagged multiple girlfriends in order to get the in-house content mill churning. One of these lucky dames is Ari. She's a full-time gooner, part-time FPS gamer. Her words, not mine. You never want to shit where you eat, and you never want to goon where you grind. Okay? Ari, despite the blatant violation of boundaries and trust, still chose to make the relationship work behind the scenes and even defended him publicly after he took the matters into his own hands by going on stream and revealing the intimate details of their situation. This was apparently the next day after they agreed to not do that exact thing. Through all the cheating scandals, non-consensual filming, and various hiccups, they managed to go on and off for 2 whole months till January 4th of this year. Their breakup was prompted by lack of communication, and Lee choosing to prioritize his working relationships with other women instead of his girlfriend Ari.
Why does Lee's hair have an antenna? That's for my radio signal for, you know, all the eagles in the area.
What's her name, nigga?
Ari posted a document over a week later on the 12th, which was intended to clear up growing misconceptions from their public back and forth months prior, as she felt that the narratives were getting way too far out of hand. I honestly don't know how Lee managed to fuck this one up with that many second chances, but let's find out, shall we? This is part of the reason why the video's a little late. Beyond the fact that the document was 45 pages, I did my job and reached out to people. Can we give me a hand? As I said, I reached out to Ari, who was kind enough to answer all of my questions, but unfortunately, Lee has yet to make a response both publicly and privately, beyond one DM, but we'll get to that later.
Why is Lee's arm bruised or something? And I do a lot of skateboarding. So I fall over a lot sometimes,
Yeah, a lot of cheating.
I cheated on Ari. It hurt her a lot. Luckily, she gave me a second chance to keep things going.
Now, I don't personally care if Lee cheated on a million different women, but it's relevant to the story, so I'm just gonna have to suck it up and do my fucking job. Keep in mind that when I say cheating, we're specifically talking about emotional cheating. Well, at least that's what I thought it was, but according to an update on January 27th posted by Ari in her document, apparently the girl that he was doing e-dating content with, he was also dating. So yeah, just thought I'd add that in. Mira, who also happens to be a Twitch streamer, was one of Lee's exes, and they dated from around August 2023 till April 6th of 2024. And only 2 weeks after they decided to part ways, Lee somehow managed to secure his next golden goose. Or should I say golden goon? I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. Anyways, according to DMs shared in Ari's document, she reveals how Lee was flirting with her prior to breaking up with Mira. This kind of unfaithful behavior would mark a consistent pattern throughout the duration of their relationship. For example, TwitchCon 2024. Lee claims to have ran into his ex Mira by pure coincidence 3 times.
So I ran into like this person, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times. First 3 times, I respected Ari's decision to walk away and immediately leave within the moment. On the 4th instance, I couldn't help it. I hated how this feeling was where I had to avoid everything in the room, because I'm not really the type of person to avoid conflict. It wasn't there to like get back together, because honestly that relationship ended like a hellhole as well.
But in reality, he was calling and messaging her over Discord after he had just guaranteed to Ari that he wouldn't interact with her at all. This is made even worse given the fact that only 10 days prior, Lee claimed to completely cut contact with her over DMs and allegedly told her to not talk to him anymore in any shape or form. Well, that was fairly short-lived. It would not surprise me in the slightest if this behavior was a result of his gooning environment, where flirting with women became his day job and recording on Breeze turned to recording in the sheets. On October 25th, 2025, over a year into their relationship, Ari decided to go through Lee's phone after she had spotted him using it during their earlier act of intimacy. And much to her surprise, she found that not only was he actually recording her, but she discovered 2 other instances from their Japan trip last month as well. In her panic, she deleted the first recording, but photographed the others in order to confront him and archive a potential legal defense if necessary. Her immediate panic and caution can likely be attributed to her past experience with someone who threatened to leak intimate photos of her.
A day after he was caught doing the act, that was also the day I called the police. Because I have past trauma with revenge porn. It took me a while to heal from it, so my first instinct was to call the police.
A day later, Ari contacted the authorities for advice, but quickly realized that action would be prompted only by publication or the threat thereof, which is not very reassuring. Taking all of this into consideration, why did they ultimately choose to stay together? Was it denial? Perhaps a sense of obligation towards Lee to repay him for her success? Or was it simply to avoid rocking the boat to maintain a semblance of stability in their precarious situation? Whatever it was, the audience could tell that something wasn't right. In DMs, one day before Lee confessed, he offered to admit everything and entirely quit content for her.
This is going to be very hard for me to say, because like it's a huge career, but I've heard her a lot, and this is like the least I could do to like actually like help the situation a little bit.
In response, Ari has quite a lot to say. The keynotes she highlighted were reassuring him that she didn't want to ruin his career, and that going public with how he mistreated her would be a solid step forward to repairing their relationship. However, their later conversation on the subject yielded a different conclusion, where the two agreed this would be a terrible idea, likely considering the potential backlash for both of their careers. No one wants to deal with a bunch of snoopy internet fucks going through their personal shit.
Well, that's kind of ironic coming from you.
What do you mean by that?
Dude, that's literally you. You're doing
you
it
mean
right
that's
now.
me? What do you
this
mean
whole
that's
thing, this
literally
whole
me?
grift.
Lee chose to be honest, which is admirable in its own right, but it didn't do him any favors. And as a result, he began to see his content empire falling around him. His favorite editor decided to quit on him, and he was feeling the pressure. Before we continue, I'd like to make one correction here. I do like Ari, but I gotta be fair, okay? Ari, in her document, uses the terms non-consensual filming and essay interchangeably. When asked why she chose this specific phrasing, she responded that filming during intimate acts without consent, where intimate body parts are visible, is considered sexual violence and falls under the category of essay. While it certainly does fall under the list of sex-related crimes, this act is missing one of the most crucial components of that definition. That, of course, being violence. According to her, all of the sex was consensual. It would be legally inaccurate to claim that an assault took place. The correct term would be voyeurism. Voyeurism occurs when a person who, for the purpose of obtaining sexual arousal or sexual gratification, observes a person who is engaged in a private act. I'm not trying to be a dick, okay? To be fair, not everyone gets paid to Google sex crimes all day, all right? I know I'm in a very privileged position, so I don't blame her for not knowing that. I just thought it was important to make that clarification because that is a claim of a criminal act, so it requires a little more scrutiny. This is one of the main reasons and breaking points of why Ari posted her document in the first place. Knowing that Ari set a boundary of no nudes very early in their relationship, it's understandable that she wouldn't want to move in with him after finding 3 separate videos on his fuck-ass Samsung Galaxy. However, she'd already committed to the move, so she couldn't move in with her previous roommate who had other living arrangements, and now she only had 2 months to find a place to stay.
We were meant to move in together, but obviously can't do that anymore.
Ari decided to ask for compensation up front as a security net to find a new living situation.
He has compensated me with money because I asked for it.
Shit. Okay, shit. We're just saying everything. Fuck it.
Sounds pretty reasonable, right? This is where it gets a little controversial because she was asking for approximately $18,000. That would have been the hypothetical amount that Lee would have been paying for her to live with him during a 6 to 12 month period, depending on the lease. But when people heard about this arrangement, first from Ari, whispers of blackmail started to circulate. And even Lee hopped on the bandwagon after they broke up in January.
He said, if you don't give me the money, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to sue you and go public with it. Is that not the raw definition of what blackmail is? You have the whole convo? Well then, you should show it, because that's, like, I didn't know that you were recording in the room during that time.
How much do you want? The entirety of my end of the rent period?
Yes.
That would have been around $18,000.
Great. We're probably gonna run into each other at some point, so I don't want things to end badly. How much time do you need?
Honestly, I need a bit of time to think. That's what I need.
I'm sorry, but
No, not days. Just now.
Lee did in fact wire her $12,000, only 4 days after the confrontation for the recordings found on his phone. But Ari refused the remaining $6K after their heartfelt chat on the 29th of October, where she decided to work towards forgiving him. Ari describes in her document that she was wrong to ask for compensation, and she felt immense guilt as it was coming from a place of desperation. Now, for any normal person, being asked for $18,000 would definitely feel like blackmail, regardless of the circumstances. I don't know you guys, but I'm not grifting nearly hard enough to have that on 4 days' notice. Normally, I would say this kind of high-stress scenario, coupled with a 4-figure wire transfer, could definitely fall under scrutiny for potential extortion.
we're probably gonna run into each other at some point, so I don't want things to end badly.
But, considering the fact that this guy was filming a woman during a sexual encounter without her consent, fuck him. Just fuck him, dude. I don't know. Who fucking cares? He violated your trust, so you violated his wallet. Sounds like a fair trade to me. What price would you guys put on a sex crime? Because if you put it that way, $12,000 is sounding pretty nice. That sounded like a deal. There's so many other claims. I mean, it's 45 pages where Lee's alleging that he was owed approximately $78K from roommates who then responded calling it complete bullshit. But unless I see some actual receipts in here somewhere, some invoices, bank statements, I'm not entertaining this, okay? We need more. Safety, safety, safety. Whenever you're in some controversy on the internet, there's gonna be a group of people who are gonna wanna make some crazy, mentally ill threats towards your life. You gotta treat it like an Xbox lobby, though. If I see someone who's in a drama and they're like, oh, I'm getting death threats. Okay. If it's not a credible threat, if they don't know exactly where you live, a photograph of the outside of your house, fucking call you from inside your house, like, a lot of you are pussies. I'm just gonna be real. A lot of you guys are fucking pussies.
I've had this issue before. Like, I've been swatted 3 times. This is not something different at all.
Again, Lee's old roommates deny the swatting claims. I was unable to find any evidence of him getting swatted. If you've been swatted, I'm not saying it's impossible. Like, if you're big enough, I do believe people will swat you, but I'm gonna need more than you just saying, yeah, I've been swatted 3 times.
And then my phone number kept getting called. 5 times from no caller ID, 7 times from like a number that I didn't know. And then 1 time from an agent that I trust. I sent him some messages. I sent him what's going on. Yesterday, there was an attempted SWAT attempt on our address.
I got a guy at the FBI that's feeding me intel about how you have a viper foot fetish. So, I don't know. We can go agent for agent here.
Yeah, I've tried talking it out with this one particular person that like knows about this entire situation that's going on, and they're taking Ari's side very heavily. But they're doing things that are completely wrong, such as trying to like set up an arson attack on my place. So I'm getting the police involved to ensure that I can keep this place safe. I need to move somewhere else.
Yeah, someone tried to burn my fucking house down. And you have nothing? You have nothing they were escorted off the premises of your house, and you have nothing besides an email? That just seems, I don't know, that seems kind of wild to me. His brother who lives with him didn't hear about this person being escorted off their premises. I mean, who is this guy's ops? Phoenix? But then he seems to have no idea what the person's motivations are or who they're affiliated with, and then apologizes to Ari for making that connection between the two. I don't think the guy should be getting threats, okay? I understand that it's probably very stressful for you. But when you just start making up stuff like, oh, someone who wants to burn down my house is one of Ari's fans, you're just gonna cause more confusion and finger pointing in a situation that's already so muddy. Ari provided me with a DM from Lee on January 8th, where Lee supposedly caught wind of her prepping a statement and reached out to tell her how he doesn't want to be someone who lies or hurts people anymore, and that he was looking to take appropriate steps for real accountability. Which, just like the infamous clip on LSF, is yet another unprompted confession. I'm recording a YouTube video right now. I gotta call you back.
She said I was lying.
Oh yeah.
All right, love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry guys, my mom's calling me. I gotta reset my aura. With how much this guy loves incriminating himself, I bet $18,000 that he's Catholic. He's already lost viewers, sponsorship opportunities, and his girlfriend. So I guess a prayer couldn't hurt. Lee has been MIA from content and social media since January 2nd. Only time will tell if he's able to rebuild the bridge with his audience, or simply move on to a new chapter of his life. I think an important takeaway from Lee and Ari's relationship is that everyone makes mistakes. And even through all the publicity and prying eyes, these were two people who maybe at one point were really trying their hardest to make the best out of a flawed situation. And there's something admirable about that. But there's a fine line between forgiveness and self-respect. Lose one or the other, you may never find that special someone. I pray that Lee is actually serious about becoming a better person and that he goes on a full Gooner detox. And to Ari, sure you probably weren't perfect, but who is? Nobody should have to deal with this kind of disrespect in a relationship, and I'm glad that you chose to stand up for yourself. That's it for me, boys. I am freezing my ass off. Thank you to all my lovely patrons. You pay for my rations as I am snowed in my house in Austin, Texas. Miss Kiff, please don't release our DMs, bro. I'm sorry. Whatever I did to you, I'm sorry. Leave me out of it. I don't know, fucking Miss Kiff. Yeah, that's it. All right, we're gonna do the Marvel Rivals 40K tournament next. That shit is too funny. But no, I have to talk about the Marvel Rivals thing. This shit is too funny. Give me a sec to work on that. And as always, until next time.